Hi everyone, my name is Dana Underwood. I am a graduate student at the University of Texas in Arlington. This is a book review of the Leadership Challenge: How to Make Extraordinary Things Happen in Organizations. I chose to review Kouzes and Posner's 2012 The Leadership Challenge, and first published in 1987. It has been widely praised by leaders and leadership experts like John Maxwell, who called it one of the five best books I have ever read. Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner are educators, researchers, and authors who began collaborating in 1981 on research on effective leaders. This formed the basis of the first edition of the Leadership Challenge in 1987. A year later, they published their Leadership Practices Inventory Assessment, and they have co authored other books, including A Leader's Legacy and The Student's Leadership Challenge. Jim Kouzes is a fellow at the Doerr Institute for New Leaders at Rice University and was formerly the Dean's Executive Fellow of Leadership at the Leavis School of Business at Santa Clara University. He also served as CEO and chairman of the Tom Peters Company. Recognized as one of the nation's top executive educators, he is the author of more than a dozen publications on leadership. Barry Posner is the Faculty Professor of Leadership and former Dean of the Levy School of Business at Santa Clara University, and the author of more than 100 research articles. He has been a guest professor, served on corporate boards, and had been a consultant to Apple, Amazon, Trader Joe's, and other companies. His recent research work has focused on gender, ethnicity, and setting based differences in student leadership. The purpose of the book is to present the results of more than 25 years of the author's research on best practices in leadership. Kouzes and Posner presented their evidence based model of effective leadership based on the five exemplary practices and 10 commitments. The author's ultimate objective was to demonstrate that transformational leadership can be used by individuals who follow the five exemplary practices of model the way, inspire shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage the heart. The Leadership Challenge is intended for and accessible to a wide audience, including business, academic, and general audiences. It is broadly aimed at anyone who has an interest in leadership and specifically aimed at existing and aspiring leaders. The book is accessible to leaders at all levels and in any type of organization or institution. A key strength of this book is that it is evidence based, drawing on 25 years of research and data from more than a half million annual responses to the author's leadership practices inventory. The concept of the book aligned the leadership and organizational theories, particularly those related to transformational leadership and organizational change. The five exemplary practices of leadership include some of the steps in Kotler's change model. The book delivers a meaningful, usable message to readers. The book is an evidence based field guide to becoming a transformational leader. This book is extremely well organized. Following a first chapter executive summary, the chapters are organized around the five practices and 10 commitments, which both makes them easy to follow and reinforces the components of the leadership model. Each individual chapter is well organized and includes subheadings, examples to illustrate concepts, book indentation to identify codes, and a concise summary. The book includes references and an index. The shortcomings of this book include the author's rigid adherence to a behavior based concept of leadership and their failure to consider the role of culture, ethnicity, race, and or gender on leadership. Nor, it, Nor is there any mention of diversity or ethics. Other shortcomings include some redundancies in the arguments, a difficult to follow end of book footnoting system, and a combination of beige colored paper and light print. The authors succeeded in their primary objective of presenting an evidence based field guide to becoming a transformational leader. They also succeeded in presenting a conceptually sound, evidence based transformational model of leadership. They were less successful in their argument that anybody could achieve a success with their model. Their case was weakened by their failure to discuss the role of gender, ethnicity, race, or culture, and the refusal to consider the impact of personality on leadership. I strongly recommend the Leadership Challenge to current and aspiring leaders as well as to students studying leadership. The book provides an evidence based practical guide to becoming a transformational leader. The leadership model is well supported by research and theory and applicable to leaders in most organizations. I would recommend that all readers with a long term interest in leadership purchase the book so that they can refer to it again. For students, the book provides an excellent evidence based profile of transformational leaders. At the same time, students should be cautioned about the author's rigid behavioral view of leadership. Students and scholars, as well as leaders, should consider how the author's model and arguments are weakened by the lack of attention to gender, ethnicity, race, culture, or diversity. I am happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you and have a good day.